come up with, or ideas that can be valuable so that they can spend their time effectively. So the whole idea about time, it's planning. Planning allows you to have a determined program or determined activity at any given point. So this activity gives value to your existence. So the idea is, how do we become valuable with the time that we have? What are we looking at? How can we increase value? Yes, it's a time of challenge, but progress has to be made. Things have to keep moving. It's fortunate or unfortunate, but things have to change. And I was alerted to some interesting concepts. Some of the big companies, look at General Motors. They are now making ventilators. And Mercedes-Benz, they are making breathing equipment, which is similar to ventilators. So what it means is that being able to adjust. It's not about it's not about the destination, but it's about the direction that you are going. Which direction are you taking for you to change and to be valuable? So when it comes to time, it's about personal development. It's about individual discipline. You've got a day. What are you going to do? What do you want from a day? So some of the things that we can talk about, how to give people money, how to signpost people to access different resources. But what is important, it comes to an individual preparedness. How are they disciplined enough? Because you can't instill discipline in an organization before you can instill discipline in yourself.
Let's start with us. Maybe someone out there is asking us, how are you guys spending your time before we start rebuking other people and so forth? How are we spending our time? Joe, what does a day mean to you? What is a day?
A day, Morgan, in the life of a dream blazer. It is a 24-hour for everybody. But our clock does not really stop, because right now we are finding information for people. Right now, as I want to share with you, the banks, those who are thinking of projects, those who have got an idea that they want to set it alight, those who have got initiatives that they think they want to do, the banks, they're open, they can open a bank account for you. So the funding has been declared, it's available. It's about being an organization, becoming, you have to become an organization. First point of protocol is opening a bank account. So the information we spend our day is to access information. We look for information so that we can pass to people.
What has happened to the banks? What do people know what has been happening with the banks? Maybe people don't need to know.
In this situation, Morgan, no one has been left out. The shops, I was reading the other day, some of the shops, they're used to, Primark. This information, obviously, we can talk about it because it's in public domain. 780 million in a day, but to zero,
no sales.
No sales, you see. So what it means is that there is people have to respond to the crisis. It's a matter of having an exit strategy or COVID strategy.
COVID strategy.
COVID strategy. Yes. So people have to have a COVID, strategy. It's time to have a COVID strategy, because
so Primark did not see this coming.
No one
didn't put. But were you not told it's coming?
Well, being told and being aware is one thing. Getting prepared, is another thing. Everything comes with a lesson. When you have an organization, an existing organization, you are showing that how flexible are you in times like this. You've got a plan. The idea is you're not abandoning the plan, but you are just adjusting your strategy to be able to be floating, because at the end of the day, you don't want a lot of organizations that are going to disappear, because of, a lack of maybe preparedness. But that's not an excuse, because every challenge comes with opportunities. That's why we want to share with people that there are opportunities. Right now, we've got the increased amount of demand for digital communication, online streaming, 5G coming handy, and things like that. And there's a lot of conspiracy being thrown about 5G and all that kind of thing. 5G is relevant for times like this, whereby certain services have to be substituted by machines.
So that's where I want us to discuss right now.
Yes.
Where are we as well? You know, you talked about being responsive to COVID-19, and we talked about is it, what did you say about time? Gathering time.
Yes.
Yeah. So what about us? Let's talk about us first. What are we? How are we reacting to this so that we can?
Morgan.
Yeah. What's your day like?
People.
Every day.
Every day.
How are you
read, write, and research.
Yeah. So you read, write, and research. So that's your day.
That's my day.
Wow.
And it doesn't matter, it's COVID or no COVID, Christmas, Boxing Day, birthday, everything. Read, write, and research. Why? Because knowledge, people have got academic credentials. People, they spend time in school, right? And some people have got more degrees than a thermometer. And knowledge is important, but knowledge without action is zero. The limitations that we are facing is that people, they are overqualified, but underproductive.
So like the people, I always say people, they've got the answer. They got the answer, then they've gone past the answer. Maybe you only needed a little of that knowledge and start, making use of it. Is it?
Like what we always share, okay? It's information, comprehension, and application. People have got enough information in terms of which has come through education. They've understood it. The key question is, how can you make that knowledge actionable, and how can you make that knowledge valuable? You see, so when the most important skill that we want to share with people is to be able to be applicable in any situation, be able to see opportunities in a crisis like this. So we are not gonna hide or sugarcoat. This is a time, serious challenges, and it's also time for opportunities. This is the time to apply your education, you see, because we don't want a situation where certificates, they are dusty, they're hung up in every corner of the house, and they are not bringing food on the table. So
is it that easy, to apply your education? Maybe that's the problem. I've got a certificate. Let's start with the O level. I'm from Zimbabwe. Is it the GSC,
something like that? Yes,
that one. I've got it already. Then I go on to do what's the next after
A level or something like
A level, yeah. Then after A level,
you go for a degree. Yes.
General degree.
Yes.
Then after degree,
you go for a postgraduate degree.
Then
another
master's.
PhD, master.
Where do you start?
Undergrad, postgrad, which is master's, and further maybe PhD.
So I've got all those. Yes. How do I apply them? Because already I think I've got them now. So where do I start?
The easiest way, by default, our communities have been operating. When you qualify like that, you are a very useful tool to be employed only. That's what the issue is. So you're as good as an employee, but we need to move with times like this so that we are able to be trained to be employers. You see, there is need for the current curriculums to be adjusted so that people, at least, they understand that education without application, it amounts to poverty.
Yeah. So I think the first person to employ is yourself. Employ yourself to yourself.
Of course.
Does that make sense?
Yes, that's what it means.
Because if you spend time reading books, personal, developing yourself. It means you've been employed to yourself, isn't it? Then you become that person you want to be. So I think, how can we help someone out there so that they understand, what's the immediate step? What's the immediate action? What's the call to action?
The call to action right now, we are aware that, we are already in a crisis, which a lot of solutions, no one was ever prepared. And governments were not prepared for, this kind of scenario. But your government is not going to knock to your house to deliver eggs. No government is going to do your garden. No government is going to bury your debt. No government is going to support, can go to a certain extent. What they can do, like what we share with people right now, there's a lot of bereavement. What you can do is you can actually have an organization to support people more mental health, because of so much bereavement. Mental health is a wide spec in terms of, what of things that we can do. First of all, I was touched, the other children, they have become orphans and things like that. So we can have an organization to look after, those children. And on the other hand, there are other people that are being, not a lot of pay attention. I've heard that every Thursday at 8 o'clock, people are clapping for the NHS staff and, kind of thing. But we need to go further to look at their mental health.
Just clapping.
You see, someone comes on a 12-hour shift. They're seeing maybe 6 bodies, that is traumatizing. But we need an organization like you and me. That's why I'm talking about more, that knowledge without action will come to zero. Knowledge without action is poverty. Professionals right now, they're in trauma, they're traumatized, seeing a lot of dead bodies. We need organizations, to start an organization, someone out there, any member of our audience, who can help you with that project straight away. Help you to open a bank account, because nowadays it takes 4 to 7 days to open the bank account. We can help you set up an organization that looks after professionals' mental health state because of the trauma that is going about. This is just an example. So that's where we're saying that how can we apply ourselves and understanding,
so let's break it down, because I think you've come up with you're creating already some jobs, isn't it? Already there's what's coming up after COVID-19. There's a lot of issues with mental health. So can we point out what sort of jobs are coming up? What could be for mental health? What could just an example? What could we? Who can this person? What can I train to be so that I'll have a job? I'll have something to do, not a job, not working for someone, doing it on my own. What sort of work is there?
Morgan,
opportunities.
There are plenty of opportunities, but we also need to give the people examples. With mental health, just talking, talking to someone, talking therapies, and obviously they are saying, at the moment like this, how can you deliver therapy? Talking therapies. That's the opportunity. We've got phones, we've got, instead of circulating some unproductive messages on WhatsApp, having even your own website. So what are we saying? There's funding to just establish a website which can facilitate chatting, which can facilitate video calls, with the Zoom, which can facilitate any kind of communication, you see. So here, it's an opportunity that if you've never had a website before, you can get money, a grant, to establish a website. That website will be used to support people in bereavement, mental health. So other professionals can come in. We've got counselors, we've got teachers, we've got even pastors, you see. We've got a lot of resources, IT and technical people. They can help out people to, there's a lot of things, Morgan. Right now, we can touch on that area, but at the same time, some services have migrated online. Banking, some people, we had at that time that there was an elderly person never used the internet banking before. You see,
it's a challenge.
That's a challenge, but it's an opportunity. You see, so that's why I'm saying that.
So you can have an organization just to train the elderly people.
Yes.
Not only the elderly people. Actually, there might be a lot of people who are not we do not use, to us, we take it for granted that we use computers every day, and we think everyone, they're online, everyone is using computers. So let's go back to what we are trying to teach in the Dream Blazers, that in most cases, because while other people are listening right now, so maybe one might be thinking, they go straight into workshops, they go straight into application. You said, what did you say? Information, comprehension,
and
application. So the understanding is what we need. So what do we do? So I think number one, people should be aware that there are projects you can just raise awareness of this issue. Just raising awareness, it's enough to attract a grant, to attract money, to attract a grant. So spend time at the moment, like Joe, researching. So researching in those areas, maybe if you want to start an organization where you are reducing, you're reducing mental health issues.
Yes.
So research. So in the research, don't start with try and help people straight away.
Yes.
Try and start with informing people first. Information is very important.
Yes, a lot of people, they know
that's where Dream Blazers is coming in as well. That we like to share information, because our community, we don't share information enough, and that's killing us. That's killing our community. So number one, information. Joe, as a researcher, I think let's talk about that. How do you research? Because someone has never researched. So when you say research, it's easy to just say, I research, I read, and then what did you say? You write. How do you research? Where do you start gathering this? Because you're spending time, isn't it? This is how you're spending your time. How do you gather information that will be useful for a project, that is useful enough to attract also a grant? How do you convince the funder with your information?
One of the easiest thing, Morgan, one of the things that we also need to understand sometimes when it comes to information gathering, let's not go far to look for someone else's information. Let's talk about our own communities. Let's look at ourselves as a person firstly, and as a community. What challenges we are facing ourselves? Some of them we share them, and we've read on live protocols, medias, webinars. They're problems that in our communities first, So the idea is to identify the problem, like we mentioned about mental health or bereavement. So let's understand what is happening, how our bereaved people, what is happening in our communities, what are the challenges in terms of death?
I think at the moment, the most worrying to me is where you've got a father, a mother, a sister, a brother, a daughter who's passed away now, and we're so used to certain ways of mourning, and then with this, there's no what do they call it? Closure. We can't meet up, we can't visit, we can't go to the to the funeral, we can't do as usual what we normally do. So that's leaving a very big gap, isn't it, in our community? Then on that, I want also to say, understanding that how do we do it so that it becomes, there's something, we read something yesterday about when we go to make decisions, when we're going to decision making, when we go to the council, when we meet with funders, when we sit down on the decision tables, what have we got to tell them? Sometimes we are just quick to signing papers and we go empty-handed. We don't have sort of a structured way of doing our own things. Me, I call it values, because that's where my value is. My value is in my needs. That's where my value is. If I eat meat on bone, that's my value.
That's being creative.
Yes.
No, that's value. Okay.
That's value. So we need to have our needs known, and when they are known, when we go on negotiating tables, this I learned yesterday, that we need to not just go into signing papers or just they say the BME community needs so much, for their grants. Why don't we go and say, no, this is not enough. We need more because we take time, to mourn our people other than, the other communities. They might be quick, but with our own waves of mourning,
yes,
it should be different. And we should have a way, like I was saying to someone else, that if we have our people, now passing away, or, the dead, we're just going to cooperative. Yet you see with the Asians, they have their own mortuaries, they have their own way of dealing with the dead. So we're not just talking about the dead, we're talking about everything else. Maybe supermarkets. We don't have African supermarkets. We don't have, somewhere where we have our own way of doing things. So I think, needs. We need our needs to be known so that we can start having value.
Start building value. So Morgan, when it comes to making our needs known, as you are pointing out, that's where the value comes from. So if you keep quiet, no one will know what you need.
They'll just give you what they have. They'll just decide for you that this community. Remember, the other thing is the history. That's the other thing people we are not aware. The history of UK here. We are not in their, in their policies.
Yes.
Because we are coming as, foreigners. So when everything, just say for this area, when they were planning the roads, they were not looking at how us as Africans are going to be using these roads, or how we are going to be coming in. Yes. So we need to start now being visible to say, now, look, we are here. So if there's certain things we need adjusting, they have to be adjusted within the decision-making, their budget. Our needs to be known.
Okay.
Yeah. So this will go as well funding. There must be funding, maybe just set up for the African community. Besides the BME, because BME is it's broad. But what about for us?
It's African.
I don't know. Where is the nearest Zimbabwean community? Do you know one? Community center.
It's the internet.
Okay, now we're going on internet.
Yeah,
because I've seen all these other communities. They have their community. So now we need the community, isn't it? We were talking with a very good friend who is watching right now. Yeah, that we need a community that's relevant to our needs, where we can be. In Leeds, I think we had what was it called in Leeds? There was one center there. Now it's called.
Yeah. But at the same time, Morgan, we're moving with the times.
Yes.
Right now, we can only have a website.
Yeah. We've always had websites.
A website.
We've always had websites. Let's be different.
Well,
we've always had websites.
The idea.
What's the difference now with your website? I just want to.
The difference is about what change are you gonna make? What change are you gonna make? Is that different? What value are you making?
So what's the value in
having a website?
Just having a website, there's no value.
It's not enough.
Yeah. So what can you add value to a website? How can we add value to a website?
A website. Okay, I'll tell you what we can do to a website. Right. Okay. First of all, there are people who can't even go on the website. They are digitally illiterate. So those people, before I go to the website, I need to let you know, let the government know, there are people who are what is called digital exclusion. They've never seen internet. You see, so we need to raise awareness.
You mean here in England?
People who have never seen internet.
Oh,
you see, people who can't, not ready to be interactive, who can use gadgets and things like that. There are a lot of them. People, you can carry a mobile Morgan right now. You don't even know.
Are we so
Someone
you just guessed that was me today.
This is what
I was playing with my iPhone. I was trying to to message, to put in a message. Then by mistake, I kept pressing the space button, and I saw it increasing the font. The font. Yes. I didn't know about this. So you're so right. That we have. It's like we've got a loaded gun. but you don't know how to
So it can explode and shoot. That's why we end up throwing vial at each other, because we've got the guns that are loaded that we damage
okay. So go on.
And okay,
digital inclusion.
Digital inclusion.
Yeah.
Secondly,
then what was this website to have value?
Secondly, a lot of children, they are out of school now, right? They need to be taught, right? In terms of their curriculum, but they also need something that is relevant from their cultures in terms of their language. So we need a website that can teach children even their mother tongue. Yes. So what are we saying?
That's our values, our language. Someone was saying, if they take away your language, they've taken away everything. Yes. So I think, so that's very important, but we might not see it important in our community. Do you know why? I remember growing up, I think most people can agree with this. There was even a time when we were told to speak in English in our own homes in Zimbabwe. English was so, important to us that we were told not to speak in Chola. That's why you see, even now, I cannot spend a day speaking my language because I mix it with English. So did that not take away also? Sorry, I'm getting away a bit. We're coming back to the website. Yes. But I'm saying as well, maybe people, they don't understand how valuable their values, their needs, how valuable a language can be. What's important, with a language? Going to a doctor, seeing a sign written in Shona, in Ndebele. Wouldn't that be nice?
Morgan, for those who are joining us, thank you so much. You've just touched on a subject that I was going to also share with people, that we are in a moment of crisis and people are wondering, what are the opportunities? Right now, there's tons of information about COVID. Even every new baby, for example, they know already about COVID. But we need information. We're talking about the website, Morgan.
Go on.
That website, we need information about COVID in our own languages.
Which is, I think, now is standard. Every website right now, it has to have a translation. I think Fungai was saying it has to have that. And no, it has to have COVID-19 related now at the moment. So I think you're saying now, let's also have it in our
own languages.
It will also help us to understand, to raise this awareness. So information, we are still on information, giving value to our website. So just putting another language on your website, it's adding value.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
That's how.
Because I think we are so taught that if you just put it in English, everyone should be able to read it in English. So I think you are so right.
Morgan, the idea of value, education, and culture, they can be crowded on a website to create value. So it is about what is the content. Okay, we've spoken about sharing information, teaching people how to use computers and things like that. We're talking about children learning even in their own languages, even because the curriculum is stopped now, we can facilitate learning. Teachers, they don't have to be isolated. They can migrate online as well, have their own website whereby they can teach their specialties, for example.
What do you mean?
We're still on our website.
While you're saying that,
slots.
It pains me while you're saying that in most cases we got people who've been teachers in Zimbabwe.
Yes,
they come here, they change, they shift, they become maybe a nurse or something, but yet there are these opportunities now, coming up.
Morgan, it comes to awareness. You see, it's awareness. Sometimes if you're not aware, you might lack the knowledge or understanding of how to apply it. But what are we saying now? We have discovered it now, or we are saying that it's not even too late to understand. Those who have got teaching qualifications, who think they can, or who want to establish websites for teaching their subject area, chemistry, mathematics, they can do that. You see, so now they can even do it with 5G. 5G, let's forget about the conspiracies. One of the fastest facility for digital communication, you see, because these things, they're happening so that services can be delivered at this doorstep.
Also, Joe,
yes,
talking of those steps, so now you cannot even teach from here. You can teach global, isn't it? It's not, you're not limited only to UK. You can also
that's the whole
reach
point.
people in America. There's Zimbabweans in America. There's Zimbabweans in China right now.
Yes.
There's Zimbabweans in, all over the world.
Yes.
So that's the other thing, isn't it? You're not limited now.
You're not limited.
Yeah.
People, you know what? We have limited resources on internet, on our website. We can have our own, what do they call them? Folk tales. Oh, those stories, they were deep, rich.
But are they not already out there? Maybe we are not aware. Are they not out there?
We need to, there's some, for example, I come from Zimbabwe, right? I used to read interesting novels, like, well, any other Zimbabwean novel. We need their translations, most of them. We need more translations. They are there, but we need more translations of some of those, So those things can happen digitally. And you know what? You click, maybe you say, you, in other words, you're sharing your culture, and you're increasing your value and things like that. So if this information is about how our community, the things that we do in our communities, if they are not known, some of them they are written in those books, or they are brought up via the books through the characters of the hare and the baboon. You see, so those stories, they were meant to be educational tools, even to inform this generation. But if they are not captured,
would they connect? Does a baboon, will it connect with your children?
So as the disciples connect with the world.
I remember these were good stories, isn't it, for us? They always had some lessons coming with that. Yes. Anyway, Joe, before we divert, so we're talking about value, isn't it? So value coming from the way you spend your time now. So we were saying, can people spend time researching on what gaps they are actually picking now?
Yes.
So in that, when it comes to one thing I wanted us to say as well.
Yes.
Let's see this thing through. Let's see it finished. Let's not see the limitations we have now. So let's see it finished. But seeing it finished, don't see yourself going back to where you used to be. So see yourself in another. I think this what's very important. Someone was saying to me, maybe, just for interest, those who are interested,
yes,
maybe Bill Gates is 20 years ahead of us. So he's got already, this to him, this is past to him. We are in the past to him. And he's already in the 20 years future. So to him, imagine, I was doing this week. I was trying to imagine. So I'm imagining a world where you were talking about driverless cars. So that would mean I can't be driving with driverless cars. Otherwise there'll be chaos. So a time is coming, just to be aware, a time is coming where there's no driver in the car and the cars are just driving themselves, because they're saying all cars will be driven by 5G. Your device is 5G. So I'm just thinking, if someone can see and live in that future,
yes,
then there are decisions they are making right now. So I'm talking now time. Because what I'm spending my time right now, I'm spending my time creating solutions that are, what do you call it?
Post-dated.
They are post-dated. They are identified with that environment.
Yes.
I don't want to waste my time thinking of going back to doing what I used to do. So maybe in future, just to brainstorm, guys. It might be crazy, but take it on board.
Normally,
maybe in the near future, Joe, because I was looking at this robot they've been developing, so it can open the bottle. They say where they tilt beer, they pour it into the bottle, then into the glass, and then pass it on to it. So maybe in future there'll be no one in McDonald's. There'll be only robots. This one passing you your Big Mac, then with you, your cash here. Not cash. Your purchases you buy while you're in the house. When you get there, just a matter of some automation passing you the food. So I'm saying, when you think in this world, I think your solutions, I want to share with other people that the solutions become different from the solution you might have in the current.
That is very important, Morgan, to understand that, because when you talk about robots, that's where the era that we are going.
Automation.
But how are we saying? We are seeing ourselves as this is the time to understand that you can start with a basic website. You can get money to start with. This is about, we are not talking about qualification. Just you want to have a website whereby this website in the future, you know what we're going to do, Morgan? Well, instead of owning taxis, right, there will be driverless. All the taxi drivers, they'll be jobless. You understand? And all these taxis, they'll be, what you're talking about, the hospital. You can own a hospital, Morgan, on an internet. You see, that hospital will be fully functional with robots. That's a bit distant, but that's how we will see it. But where we are now, let's even focus on the problem that we are facing right now.
It's important, Joe, to be honest. Yes. To me, it's important, because where we are failing is those who are thinking ahead of us, because the future, we're talking last week, is coming. So when the future comes and you are not prepared, because we were saying, did we not hear about COVID-19 before? If we had heard it in 5 years' time, and if we had believed in it, where would we would be, at a different position right now? We would have been, maybe everyone should be knowing about internet. We're saying there are some people who don't know about internet right now. So so go on, Joe. So the current, let's go in the current now. So where we are right now.
We are saying that there are problems. Obviously, we talk about the level of digital illiteracy. In terms of people, they want to know basic functions, how to do their shopping. For those who are joining us, our audience, thank you so much. We appreciate you, Kezia, Nostar, Chido, and the rest of you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We're just discussing the opportunities that are there right now. And the good part with the time that we're living in right now, those who do not have bank account, just those who have made an appointments before, just ring your bank, tell them that obviously you want to do a COVID-related project, and they'll attend to you with the minimum number of days that they can give you. Those who have got ideas that they think they want to action, please, we'll give you the phone number to call us and a link to get in touch with us, so that we can help you to facilitate establishing an organization that will take care of some of the problems that we are facing right now in a time of COVID. So the opportunities are there. One of the founders, Morgan, said that they've got 100,000 per application for 6 months. 100,000, Morgan, to spend in 6 months. And it's waiting for people like you. Morgan, from where we are now, it can make a difference. It make a difference. So
how do you qualify?
What some of the people that are watching us, they want to know, or they can have some questions. What sort of questions do they have for us, as we are going to be winding up this session?
Where are we getting the questions, Joe? So should we say
we can get them on YouTube. We are live on YouTube, those who are watching. We're also live on Facebook.
Let's do the Facebook.
Let's get questions. Those who've got questions, please just forward them through as we are discussing. And we're here as Dream Blazers to just signpost people how to access funding, how to develop an idea so that it becomes fundable. So if you've got any questions, good news, Morgan. Let's also celebrate and say, you know what, we don't just talk, we actually action some of the things that we share with people. We've had some positive results since the beginning of the COVID crisis. And this is what we're talking about, guys. We've got some projects that have already been funded as we speak. When the crisis started, we came together with a team, and some people who were quick to jump with us had their applications done.
Can we have, Joe, also next week, maybe? Can we have, what do you call it? Can we have people coming in giving testimony?
We are preparing for that. As soon as we have a fine-tuned process in terms of connectivity, we are on course to have testimonies, live testimonies, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, of people who have their projects funded since the COVID crisis started. They've got evidence of people who got their ideas funded. So this is the journey. This is the starting point. This is the time to take action. Put your questions forward, guys, ladies and gentlemen, because we want to make this as productive and interactive as possible. We don't want to just be talking and, you know, going over things, but we want you also, guys, to take ideas from you. We want to hear what are your views, your questions, what you're going through, what are the pointers in terms of the guidelines that we have stated, that there's a potential to get funding, no matter what level of an idea that it is, there is potential, because you know what? We've got evidence of funded projects, and we are going to bring these people live. So you are going to be our next invitee, you're going to be the next grant holder, but please ask any questions. We're taking questions from our channels. We are live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook right now. So post your questions and we'll be ready to take them on. Morgan is ready to share some of his secrets in terms of accessing funding and how to write successful bids.
Yeah, so I think because of our time, Joe, because of the delays, the YouTube and the Zoom time is gone now, it's lapsed. So let's say, is it 2 o'clock, Joe?
2 o'clock.
Can you guys join us at 2 o'clock? And we're going to be, as usual, 2 o'clock. We like demonstrating. We just don't want to
demonstrate.
Yeah, so 2 o'clock we'll be demonstrating. So keep the questions coming in, then we can be answering them you know, when we start at 2 o'clock. But today we're going to demonstrate, with projects. Then we demonstrate how you can attract funding. For those who've joined us, I'm watching some. They're watching us from Zimbabwe. Please share the video. Share this video. Just maybe acknowledge my pastor, you know, Evangelist Tim Kariga. It's just waving. Yeah. So guys, thank you for watching. And Joe,
thank you so much, guys. Invite your colleagues. 2 o'clock UK time. We'll be live. We'll be demonstrating in terms of, I'll demonstrate how one organization can actually raise 400,000 in 6 months. I'll demonstrate that. So stay tuned, spread the news, and we be connected and we'll be sharing information. For now, it's been a pleasure. Apologies for the delays. Let's keep watching. Let's keep in